game 1 then, on to game 2. Best of 3 as always, and can SK put this one to bed is the real question, though.
I mean, Mouse has done a pretty decent job of adjusting after game 1 losses so far this split, so wouldn't surprise me too much if Mouse are able to bounce back. They had a couple really good engagements to start off the game. They find the first blood onto WhoDaBest. There's that one play in mid where Lawbster was dead, every single way, and then Dardez just misses the ultimate. Then Dardez ends up dying instead. If that goes Mousesports' way, that could change the entire course of the game. I think Mouse was closer than it actually looked in that one.
And take into account, Mouse does have 3 members of this team still that made it to the World Championships just recently. Cherryo, Dardez, and Jermain all made it through. Obviously, that roster kind of tilted apart a little bit with the fact that solo laner had to be changed out, and then on top of that, changes in the mid lane.
Yeah, Death Panther goes down to the minor league, and he's killing it, by the way, on Insignum. They are the best European minor league team. I don't think it's very close right now, so he's been doing pretty well for himself, but maybe not in the SPL. Could be.
Who knows? Maybe in the future. Achilles will be the first pick for SK with Terra Noir band away. They're the ones that are going to get Achilles for themselves, and Mouse will go straight for Jermain's Rama.
Yeah, but it didn't really do a whole lot for me that game. I mean, it was a little inaccurate with some of the snipes, just had some decent plays. The crit early on, went for that 3rd item rage. Didn't end up really working out for him. I like this Sobek pick, but I don't know. I think the Rama a little bit over-prioritized here for Jermain.
Yeah, taking the Sobek away important. More than likely the Achilles, seeing it in the solo, support could be anywhere technically for the most part with the Achilles picks, but solo is definitely an option.
Sure.
Raw for Lawbster, one of his tried, true, and tested, and alongside it, a rat to set him up.
I like it. I like this Ratatosker setup because of that setup and because of the early pressure. Early pressure in mid is really, really important right now. Raw can clear the wave well, but doesn't get to play as the aggressor. Agni, on the other hand, gets to do both. Can clear the wave and be the aggressor and still be able to kill you after he clears the wave. I love this pick. I hope it's going to the mid lane for BigManTingz, but we've seen it go to support for Dardez before.
So what's the jungle you would go with the Agni then in this case? You know you go against Raw, Ratatosker. What would be the sort of jungle you'd like to see?
I'd like to see Serket if I'm Mousesports, because that's the aggressive kill potential that you're really looking for. But I wonder if SK is going to ban it away. No, it is the Cabracket, and that's another would have been a pretty decent pickup, especially for a guy like Cherryo who wants to be playing the Cabracken basically all the time. But if I'm Mountain Mouse, I think I'm taking Serket pretty early here.
I mean, Cherryo, for the most part, just wants to play Guardians, pretty much, from the jungle. We see it most of the times as well. Athena's still on the board as well, so Mouse could look for the Athena to go alongside this very Guardian-heavy composition if they wanted. And her for Funballer, something we've seen plenty of in the past. And they still need a support here. Not many options left. Geb's a nice, safe one. Amaterasu still available too.
I think SK should probably go Ama. No, it's going to be Achilles support.
Chrono solo?
Man, why can't SK just pick the Ama and do the normal stuff? We're 4 physical. Who cares? It's been WhoDaBest's best support all year long. Why are you doing this kind of stuff? Could be...
But who's going solo?
Chronos, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I guess it must be. Ducky on the Chronos this game. I mean, he had a good game one on the Sobek, though.
Well, because Mouse can't help themselves, they go for Habwa, and that'll probably be Habwa jungle. I don't get it, man. SK looks so good. They play everything normally. They look like a really good team that is starting to put it together. You don't have to do this kind of stuff. I just don't think it's good enough.
I think the Anher might not be going to Funballer, and I think that'll be Chronos for Funballer. He loves it. It wouldn't surprise me. Where's your money this game then? Game 1 goes to SK. Game 2...
I hate both these drafts. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll give it to Mouse just because they at least have more front line than SK. SK is going to be really lacking.
Because they've got 2 mages. Well, I mean, they've got 2 mages too, I guess. I thought
yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get it down then to FDOT and Anatoly. Standing by to bring us game 2 here today.
What is normal?
There is no such a thing here between these 2 teams.
That's my question. And at the end of the day, I mean, I see 2 frontliners. I see Achilles and I see Ratatosker. These guys have played in the tank position before. They bring just as much as any other tanks. I've got no beef as long as it's executable. We'll see what happens across the way. We'll see. I think we get to see Dardez on the support Agni again.
It's very possible. There is a Sobek, but knowing Dardez, he's not going to play the Croc, surely.
Yeah, also I think that's going to wind up being a solo Sobek. Either way, let us know who you think is going to take this victory, whether it's one side or the other. But I don't know. This is where me and Aggro do not agree. Just like he prefers 98 degrees to In Sync. I also like the weird stuff. And Aggro, just not with it.
I'm more of a Backstreet Boys kind of guy.
Both of you are failures. It's all
Just
about.
saying.
Actually, no, I'm with you on the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, come on.
Nobody likes 98 degrees. Let's get into game number 2, though, as we see how these teams sort of battle it out. Will this one be a heater, or will this one be a little bit more quiet? It will be Dardez on the traditional support, WhoDaBest on the less traditional support, but Ducky on the solo Chronos, which is something that Deathwalker played very recently.
Something that Ducky, I think, played once as well, if I'm not mistaken. He definitely could kind of flex his god pool every now and then. Definitely not playing his kind of popular Camazotz any longer here. It wasn't really banned away. It's just a different playstyle now as the weeks evolve here in Season 5 and we approach the ending here of week number 6. Just kind of drifting away from his comfort pick. And here at chat, definitely agree here with the desk that SK should win this one.
Well, yeah, they've got a little bit more of a traditional draft, I guess. Looking at Ducky's Chronos, though, I think the biggest part that when I asked Deathwalker why they went Chronos solo, his response was, well, how often has my competition seen Chronos solo? As a solo laner, a lot of what happens in that lane, your success is based on your knowledge of the matchup to a certain extent. And taking that away from your opponent is really important. My question, though, is Nika plays a lot of weird games. I think he's seen the Chrono solo before.
I definitely would have to agree with that. He's definitely been experienced to that aspect here. WhoDaBest taking more damage than probably he wanted to. Looking at his health options, only has 3 health potions here in his build. And keep in mind in the solo lane matchup, if you haven't played against Chronos, you're definitely going to be surprised by his poke once he hits level 3. Getting a second point in that time rift at a 5-second cooldown, you can easily start abusing your opposition.
SK Gaming show up in spades. Dardez hanging on, but he's just a couple of shots away from death. Faeles, catches up, slows him down, but he can't get the stun.
That stun was so necessary for Funballer to follow up here, and that sprint so important to disengage. And with the combat dodge from WhoDaBest, he's not able to stun anybody in place, but at least Mousesports, you know, they strip away the purple buff, but SK Gaming responded in kind.
You know, I don't even know what aggro was on about. This is a normal draft from from Mouse, excuse me. Sobek solo, Sylvanas support, jungle Hebo. Everything here is normal. I don't even see what the desk is talking about here, frankly.
Yeah, I thought for a second that it would have been a little bit shaky with the draft here, but the Sylvanas is looking to be a little fruitful here.
Yeah, he was able to wiggle out of that last one, which was more about SK than Mouse, but...
Also, the passive here, keep in mind, just I think it might have rooted Faeles, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that Sylvanas passive is also needing to be taken into consideration when engaging on him.
Don't want to get rooted. Otherwise, you just might get jumped on there by the on her. Very aggressive choice for the very aggressive Funball. I really like when he brings out the on her, because he's just a fighter. That's one of the few times you're going to see on her jump backwards this game, folks.
That's true. If he really wanted to, knowing Funballer, he was like, I want to jump forward, but I know I can't here. But you can keep rest easy that this is going to be an aggressive option here momentarily. Once there's some levels here on this on her, specifically level 5 is where you're really looking for that wombo combo. Both of these two gods for SK Gaming doing a lot of damage, and all it takes is about 30% health remaining from Dardez to allow the lane from SK to succeed.
Wave clear from Funball being used for extra poke. Now, of course, Dardez is going to be able to heal that up because of the Sylvanas. The Wisps doing a lot of the hard work. Chronos with the invade on the right-hand side, able to successfully strip away the blue buff from Nika. Honestly, we always talk a lot about how Sobek really doesn't need it because of lurking in the waters. Well, Ducky on the Chronos needs it right now. But very quickly, he'll find himself in a world where, as long as he accelerates at the right time, he's net neutral with his 3 and his 1.
That's true. He needs to get the right tick on that accelerate to reduce a lot of those cooldowns. First one gives you more health, the more you're missing there. Second one is the one that returns the mana. Third is the one that does more damage for your abilities. And the fourth one, the most popular one, is the one that amplifies your basic attack damage.
So really what you're saying here, what I'm getting, is first is the worst, but second is the best.
No, not in Chronos' case.
And then third is the one...
No, fourth is the best. That's it. You're wrong, Tom.
It's a childhood rhyme, totally. I'm trying to
There's nothing childlike about this game.
trying to be playful here, totally.
We're in the battleground of the gods, Thomas.
Well, we're certainly going to gear up for battle then. Out of the sky comes the rat, puts him down, and first blood for Faeles.
Faeles making the great work from this global presence Ratatasker. Drafting it, I would say, rather early here, considering that there's so many prominent junglers in Season 5. Ratatasker kind of fell off the grid a little bit.
Right, but again, I think one of the nicest things about Season 5 and its widespread God application is, sure, you get the oddball picks that everybody really likes, but perhaps more importantly, you get players able to play their God pool. I've always thought it's kind of troublesome when just like, look, the meta right now makes you play Thor. And if you're not a good Thor player, your team is worse, right? Right now in the jungle, yeah, there's really powerful picks like the Daji and the Cirquettes and even the Hebo that people have forgotten about the Cherryo pickup one more time. But Faeles is a rat player, and so he can play Ratatasker. Even though there are the other options, he's not neutering his team by playing what he needs, what he wants to play to be successful, and I think that's perhaps one of my favorite parts about Season 5.
On the flip side, though, do you think that Cherryo might be neutering his team?
Not at all. I mean, Hebo Jungle is just as much in line with the other assassins as long as there isn't a lot of, I want to say beads burners. As long as there's not a world of like Ares and Hunbats and stuff, because that's when you get your ultimate chased out defensively, and that's really a bad look for Hebo Jungle. But if he's able to just be himself and do the thing, I think Hebo is just as fine a selection in the jungle as anybody else.
Now, I like the Hebo selection in general because of just how much damage it does here, but you got to keep in mind that you're normally picking this guy to escape a lot of slows potentially here with your Yellow River.
Okay.
And normally it's picked to counter Nemesis.
Yeah.
But against a Ratatasker, one knock-up, and then you could easily get bursted during that duration.
I think it's also the other side as well. So one, I agree with you that Hebo can do a great job at counteracting slow characters, but I think it's kind of like how Cirquette deals with healers, where, yes, it does that, but it's not the #1 thing on the bullet point list. The big deal that I like about the Hebo here is specifically that Ducky went into Chronos. Not a tanky character, another squishy god, plus he's got this XT type moment where when he rewinds, you need to burst him down, otherwise he becomes a monster because he gets all his cooldowns back. Guess who can burst that guy down? Hebo.
Yeah, which is why I'm actually great into thinking as to why the Hebo was drafted here. Really unfortunate for Ducky, but not showing the aggression here quite yet as Mousesports in the solo lane. With how aggressive Ducky is thus far, kind of pushing towards the tower line from Nika. If you ever see this in your casual or ranked games, normally the junglers would be all over any mage that's being this aggressive here, but there's just too many things right now to do on the minimap here. Buffs respawning every 2 minutes. You got your back camps coming up every minute. These mid harpies are gaining a lot of attention as well. So it's not the easiest idea to gank Chrono solo lane, especially that one that opted to go for Warrior's Blessing.
Well, the gold Fury being pulled here by SK Gaming as a couple of members are spotted on their wards going to the right side. One of the most popular questions I get asked when I sit in chat and I watch these games, Toli, is why teams ward in the middle lane. Can we take a look at where Sylvanas is right now? And you see, yeah, right there. You see that ward in that middle lane right there? That's a blue ward. That's from SK Gaming. SK Gaming puts that there. And of course, Mouse has to respect the other one on the other side. But the difference between those two wards is the fact that the blue one spotted everybody go to the right-hand side. And that's what opens the door for SK to take that Gold Fury.
And they weren't, SK Gaming weren't in the middle lane to really get spotted out on the flip side of the rotation. I love damage there onto WhoDaBest. And just like that, BMT, that was basically a solo kill, bombs and everything else.
What do you call, what do you eat when you go to a barbecue at Mousesports' house?
I'm not doing this one with you, Tom.
BigManTingz!
Ha!
Thank you. Thought it was good. BigManTingz putting on the gameplay
the
right
flank.
there.
Look at his flank.
Oh, first was fire. Now comes water. Here comes the water hand, and he gets knocked back into the direction of the jump. The ultimate to both negate the knock-up and get the kill. Follow up with the water cannon. Cherryo combines with the Hunter Jermain to take care of business. Fails here. 1 versus 3 trying to go into it. There's the knock-up from the rat, and Cherryo trying to get out of here. The turnaround is great! And Jermain able to confirm the kill. Beautiful play by Cherryo.
SK Gaming are just casually throwing their lives away. 1v3 here first. It was Faeles trying to avenge Funballer there, and now WhoDaBest almost getting punished for his own transgressions. I like the idea that Faeles had there. He just needed to collect the one additional dash there, but that one disruption from Dardez prevented him from doing so. And that's the one issue here when you go blink on assassins at level 1. All it takes is one form of CC, and then you can't really get off your damage. Against Sylvanas, against Agni, you're almost better off going beads than blink here.
Sure. I actually would agree with you, but the blink is the pro player flavor of the week. Cherryo.
It's just in.
Yeah, for sure. Cherryo, and that was the exact interaction you were talking about. What happens when Cherryo gets jumped on by Faeles and gets knocked up? And he almost died. And I don't like the Warlock staff in the jungle. But I say that because it's difficult to stack. You're rarely sharing lanes these times around. You get about 9 stacks per jungle rotation for each side, right? That said, the Warlock staff might be the only thing that keeps Cherryo alive in this game because of that interaction with the way the knockup. You could just die in the Faeles knockup. Cherryo building into this because of that reason. It's going to be very hard to stack up. And make a note. I wrote it down. What about 940 or so he finished it up? Let's see how long it takes him to stack it.
So there are other options that you can go to survive. Spirit's Robe is the best that comes to mind because once you get that knockup, you would definitely want that damage mitigation, but you're not getting any magical power with that item. So getting the best of both worlds is Cherryo here trying to survive. Maybe a Dynasty plate helmet could have been a little better.
That's what I was going to ask you right now. The aggressive play one more time by Faeles, this time in the same spot, but Jermain alone. Takes to the sky, the rest of the team shows up. There's the carpet. A couple of shots will hit on her, but that's it. Just 2 out of the 3. Mavs have to retreat back into the jungle. And you said it before I could even ask you, what about Dynasty Plate Helm?
Yeah, Dynasty would have been a cheaper option. You would have had it earlier on. You don't have to wait for those stacks, and then you could just sell it anyway for a later defensive item, or maybe your team is just so far ahead because you survived all those encounters. So there's a lot of what-ifs, obviously, to come in mind.
Of course.
And as BMT getting stunned out there, it's going to be a determining factor of Cherryo where he wants to survive, and he wants to survive in the late game at all costs. In fact, he might not even be done with this health build. He might build into E-Staff on top of this.
What I do want to see out of I would like to see Mousesports cater to Cherryo here and share more waves than usual to stack up the Warlock staff. I wouldn't be so offended there because, like I said, I usually when we see these jungle mages, they lead with Bancroft because it's incredibly cheap, and that's the power item.
Well, look at the other 2 mid-mages here between Lawbster and BigManTingz. They're basically on the same pacing between Cherryo. So
That's
it's not
fair.
too bad here, even though he is jungling there.
I think this is where it slows down, though, because you get 6 per wave, obviously, and most of the time you're getting, let's say players are imperfect and they're getting 5. That just isn't the same rate of minions that the jungler gets. You get 9 per side of the jungle. They respawn every 2 minutes or so, right?
Yep.
Your waves come how often?
Every 30 seconds.
That's, you're looking at, for 9 stacks for 2 minutes versus 6 times 4 stacks for 2 minutes,
Yeah,
right?
24.
It just goes the way of the laners. So I would like to see Mouse kind of share their lanes with Cherryo if he needs to stack this up. But we'll see how the game goes on and continues, because right now, already over a quarter finished stacking.
Ducky's been really on the ball about stacking his Warlock staff, already almost at 60 here. And that's that solo lane kind of farm that you're really going to get.
And it's funny because I think that Warlock staff in the past was perhaps too strong. Right now, I think it's kind of balanced, but we still see 4 Warlock staves on the map.
They're just able to really try to get that magical damage here. But without too much action here in the early game, you're not getting ganked anyway.
Yeah.
Are you going to gank a Kronos that has the evolved Warrior's Blessing? Probably not. He has bees as well. Gonna get the pluck off. So you're better off just focusing elsewhere here. I like the fact that both of these junglers focusing out in the duo lane despite having a mage in the solo lane.
So here's my question then. Why don't we see more Guardian solos go for the Warlock staff?
Well, it should be done, actually. Like, every time I play a Guardian, I will go for it. But I think it's a timing thing because you don't necessarily know when team fights are going to break out.
That's very true.
So if you're in the solo lane and you're like, hey, guys, I'm not rotating because I'm stacking my Warlocks, well, we're losing because the enemy solo laner is.
That's when your team goes, oh, okay, and then starts really watching the SML intently, trying to figure out who they can call up. That Warlock staff, yeah. That's just the answer, I think.
Because normally Guardians are against Warriors anyway, and Warriors obviously aren't going to be building any sort of stacking item anytime soon. The only option that they really have is like Transcendence or Soul Eater. Not really going to get the other option either. So they're basically rotating any given moment when they can make that impact happen.
Mousesports and SK Gaming now fighting over the Oracles there. Nobody gets it. Split down the middle. So nobody will have free vision on the Gold Fury just yet. Mousesports with 3 kills to SK's 1, but SK with 1 game to Mouse's none. Of course, this is the best of 3, so we'll see who winds up with the win.
SK Gaming did a great job in the first one. Dominating performance. 12-2, 27 minutes in. Did a good job here at the start of this game by sneaking in a 7.5-minute Gold Fury, but kind of slowed it down in the second part of this game. Not really wanting to fight quite yet, as Mousesports was definitely just slightly more on top of things with Cherryo's rotations.
And it's kind of rough because Cherryo on the Hebo is a character that I think is similar to gods like Awilish and Thanatos in that they can really get out of hand. If you give them a kill early and then another kill early and you just keep that train going, they can almost single-handedly win you the game because you look up, you're 5k down, Hebo's 10-1, and he keeps ganking your dual lane. But this Warlock staff build, which by the way is on pace, not too much hate for the stacks, but again, Mousesports have changed their playstyle for it. Because of the Warlock staff build, Toli, we don't see that aggression. They release the gas, and so we don't see that oppressive jungle Hebo that we can.
Well, normally it would be SK that wants to try to disrupt this Hobwa from stacking, right? If you see like a mage in the soul lane stacking, first item Warlock staff, no mobility, yeah, you're going to gank that. But against a jungle assassin mage, such as Hebo, that has speed buff, that has the river to amplify his movement speed, it's so tricky trying to lock him down.
Couldn't you just look for the jungle invades?
You could, but then he might just kill you if he has the mana.
Well, that's what we see, the attention to the farm from Mousesports jungle there. He's gotten a little bit of a lead above Faeles.
Normally the way you lock him down is cages, but it was last picked Hebo, so you know they didn't even have a chance to counterpick him necessarily. They went for a draft that they were comfortable with in terms of SK is comfortable with. They didn't have the Odin, Thor, Kabrak, and whatever you want to have for that, but they do have the Obelisk, which could maybe disrupt some crushing waves.
Yeah, certainly possible. We've seen that not time and time again. It's a rare play, but we've seen it. That said, Funballer's been around the block enough that I think he might be able to stop a Hebo.
I think he could. He's got the mechanics for it.
He's got him.
He's a veteran player.
Let's see. He's been playing for a
while. If there's anyone that could do it, sure, certainly could be him.
I mean, I've seen a couple of other players do it, but
you know, I mean, the European side of things, you know.
I mean,
Funball.
You got adapting with his honor jungle.
That's true. Haven't seen a lot of adapting kind of experiment that far out of reach.
Adapting's been very, very, very close to the meta. He hasn't really deviated much. With that said, I think that's adapting style. He just is very traditional in that mindset. So not too surprising to see King Kenneth kind of stick to the norm. He does like that on her jungle though.
Yeah, because he's the king, right? That's why he does it, really.
Honestly, that's what I said during the cast. He played it, I think season 3. I think it was either season 3 or season 4 that he played it in the Pro League, and I said he played it because he was king of the jungle.
Yeah.
And whoever I casted with probably wanted to drop kick me. Drop kicking the Gold Fury. Here's Mousesports right now. 1, 2, 3. The bombs come down, and easily the Gold Fury goes. No contest there from SK Gaming.
No, not at all here. It was 10 minutes that SK was the ones that snuck the first Gold Fury. Second one now of the game going to Mousesports. Kind of just going back and forth at it with the objectives. Neither one really wanting to overstep, though, in the jungle side here, trying to get that late game form between all their characters. And honestly, the late game form, like, yeah, there's not that much action here, 18.5 minutes in, but Agni late game, Hebo late game, Ra late game, Kronos late game, like, people are going to start dropping like flies in about 5 minutes.
Exactly. We're, is what we call an extended release game.
This is like a calm before the storm.
Yeah, that's another way to put it. We're just hanging out, drinking some oolong tea, Right, Tully?
Yeah. Did you infuse the leaves?
I did. I boiled it at 203 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's the one you have to use. If any higher or lower, it's just not going to smell as fragrant as it normally does.
The aromatics aren't good enough.
No. The nostrils have to ting. They have to like tingle.
They got a BigManTingz.
They got a big man tingle.
If you're out of the loop, well then, you need to make better uses of your Mondays. Esports Weekly airs every Monday at 11 a.m. our time, and we end every week with a moment with Tully. So you want to sit down and catch those VODs. Absolutely. And join us next Monday live. It should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited, actually, because we're going to be talking about upcoming LAN stuff.
Yep.
And with all these teams, not these two teams, unfortunately, but with all these teams coming out and battling it out for those LAN seedings, I'm very excited to get a chance to see these guys in person one more time.
It's going to be curious to see how they stack up also internationally.
Yeah, the international teams are coming through, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Should be exciting.
Yeah, we do the SGS usually every weekday. So we'll get to see some of the international players. Dardez, representing France here, getting chased a little bit. SK Gaming playing it safe. But the damage from BigManTingz is not ignorable.
SK Gaming, you said they were playing safe, but they really wanted Dardez there.
Yeah.
Luckily for him, there was the hobwalk carpet right around the corner. Nice pull. No follow-up, though, as BigManTingz had to dash away. Didn't really have time to turn around and then drop the bombs.
And you know, I wonder how hard BigManTingz is apologizing to Dardez. BigManTingz, a previous support player, and nailing that Sylvanas pull is so rewarding. And when you nail the Sylvanas pull and your team doesn't follow up, you're like, come on, guys, I actually did it. BigManTingz right there has to feel it in his heart.
I did my one job. Where were you?
Big Man's like, listen, I know how that feels, but leave me alone.
Ducky. Forced into the rewind. This is the late game hobwad that will force a lot of defensive relics at this point. And there's no Aegis also from Ducky, so keep in mind that if Cherryo really wants to go at him, even with Warlock Staff, even with the Bulwark of Hope, that's actually a good look.
Yeah, I like the Bulwark of Hope a lot here. And, you know, I don't mind not seeing the Aegis into the hobwa. I think Aegis into Hebo is a noob trap. Because at the end of the day, Hebo's going to kill you by knocking you up, and then before you hit the ground, you're dead. That's usually what happens,
I mean,
right?
that's like about 50% of the situations. There's still plenty of time where, let's say, a blink happens from hobwa, you're instantly using that Aegis because you know he's about to rip through you and your entire team.
Yeah, but it's just so hard to rely on because you say 50%, and I think that's being conservative, and then you have a relic that's useful 50% of the time, right?
True.
It's not that I don't like the Aegis into the hobwa. I think that there are frequently better choices. And seeing the beads and the sprint come out, I like that a little bit better. Because like I said, if you get knocked up, and don't talk to me about pre-beadsing the knock up or using the Aegis before you get knocked up. You're not going to protect that. But watching players come and try to, run away from the Hebo, I think it's a little bit better than fighting into the Hebo.
I don't think you're going to be running away from that river, honestly. Like, even with the sprint, sure. But that cooldown is about like lasts 7 seconds as well. And if you get a little bit of cooldown reduction, I think it lasts 10 seconds without any CDR. So you add 40% on top of that. And then you can have 2 rivers up at the same time.
I got 2 rivers, one for the fight and one for the retreat, right?
Or just 2 for the fight. Just keep moving forward.
I mean, it's going to be Ducky flipped over here by the Fire Giant. Able to dance around. Here comes Faeles and down to the ground. Finds a knockup on the Agni, but very quickly he's collapsed on. Dardez finds a secondary knockup as well. Jermain in the Aegis, and he's going to get sent to the base. Funball with another great basing attack coming out of the on her. Double knockup for the hobwa. And SK Gaming get their kill. 2 players in the yellow. They got to run.
Bra proving to be very useful here in this late game team fight, sustaining both Faeles and WhoDaBest very effectively. Now it's a 5-on-4 with the Hunter from Mousesports dead for 40.
Lawbster's Raw, man, is so much fun to watch. I know that Wolfie is still in the spotlight for most of the mid laners, but this guy, long time, has performed on this character. Ducky going to separate from the rest of the team, looking for the stun. Everybody on Mouse will dodge it out. Look at the flank, though. Keep an eye on Achilles. Hebo's there behind him.
Ooh, the blink on her stun, impale against the wall here. Cherryo getting stunned out from the backhand side, trying to run away. Searing Pain was actually backpedaled.
The flanker got flanked by a third flanker. That's what happened right there. Achilles came to flank. Cherryo said, haha, I've got him. And then Faeles went, haha, I've got him. Who thinks, haha, he's got him, but it's really me. Haha, I've got him. And got him they did. Cherryo sits out for 36 more seconds. Haha.
I'm just thinking of like a superhero's like, no, you don't, you evil doer. That's like the voice that you're going for. But you're doing like the evil maniacal voice that's trying to stop the bad guy.
Well, Mousesports trying to stop the bad guy right now. SK Gaming certainly looking clean. The knock up one more time. This time it's Dardez that's the subject of everybody's ire. Nice shot coming out from the Raw player. Not going to find the low health support, but will cut down the HP of everybody else. And totally, you brought light to it. This Raw heal, the sustain for SK, not going to be good enough to pick up a Fire Giant, but certainly good enough to basically win them that team fight.
It's true. Forcing out a lot of defensive relics there, trying to disengage into safety was Mousesports. And despite Jermain being dead, though, at least Mousesports still hold on here, 4v5, not losing that late game objective, keeping things relatively clean here at 24 minutes in the game. SK last game was winning by like about 10,000 gold here. This time, they're trailing by about 2.
Gold Fury started here, and Jermain takes to the sky. Could be enough to finish things off. But there's Ra. Oh, reliable. Searing Pain finds the ultimate, and that'll be it. But Ducky gives his life for it. If it's just Ducky, I think I'm okay with that.
So unfortunate there. Both his beads and sprint was still on cooldown for 10 seconds. Rewind just now coming off cooldown. So this time, it was SK Gaming that had a 5-on-4 advantage. Couldn't really get anything from it. Let's see what Mousesports can do here.
Well, Cherryo is going to look towards the objective, and it looks like Mouse are going directly for the Fire Giant.
As they should.
They've got the vision. SK, not the same scenario for them, but the pings come out nonetheless. Faeles is spotted out, knock up missing. 50% of the Fire Giant already. Faeles into the ultimate, hovers.
Just gotta wait. Just gotta wait it out. Don't DPS the Fire Giant.
The stop DPS call was successful. WhoDaBest gets flipped up right in the middle of everything. It's SK Gaming! Lawbster takes it away! Dardez gonna be good. Faeles, however, helps his team out. The long-range steal is a strong look. Funball likely to fall here. If anybody can find the basic, it'll be Nika. The 1 for 2. But Fire Giant stripped away by Big Daddy Amel. Nice play here by the mid lane for SK Gaming.
And it's still going to be a 4-on-3 advantage. Could get some tier 2 towers off of it. Now, you do stop the Fire Giant DPS here, but by having vision around the Fire Giant, if you spot Ra coming, you just got to hard reset that and go in the backline there. Nobody was waiting outside of the ring for the drop down from Faeles.
Yep.
They needed to kind of spread out and look for the kill there. They had a 5-on-4 advantage, force a fight.
Unfortunately, just didn't do that. I mean, they just didn't take that course of action, and Lawbster gets away with it. Oh, man.
All the attention was Faeles. They outweighted his ultimate through the Cosmos, which was the correct play.
Yep.
But then, because of the blink back in, everyone from Mousesports is like, oh my goodness, there's a Ratatasker here. Oh no.
And you know, I call it like the sleight of hand. Look at my right hand while I steal with my left, right? That's what's going on here with SK Gaming. They say, look, hey, check me out. It's me, Faeles. And then Lawbster takes your wallet while nobody's looking. Just like that.
Wow.
Damage still coming out on the middle lane. WhoDaBest walking away here. And I started talking about it. Players like Wolfie have sort of taken the shine away from Lawbster's Ra. People are looking in other directions, but this guy still has one of the best laser chickens around, man. I mean, it's so impressive that he's not only still good, but he's still this good. I still like watching it, and frankly, I think it's a little unfortunate that SK are underperforming because I think Lawbster has the talent.
Definitely think that I agree with you here. Pyromancer, though, being started and reset. This is what SK Gaming can definitely do with Fire Giant around 3 of them. Lawbster, Faeles, and Ducky, I believe. It was only WhoDaBest and Funballer that dropped, and they have the damage there with Ducky. Question is, are they going to force anything quite yet? They want to be really patient with this one. Trying to wrap around here is Faeles and WhoDaBest. That damage potential that those two have, the frontliners from SK Gaming can easily set up Lawbster Ducky long-range combinations.
Yeah, Pyro taken care of very quickly there. I don't even know if the Raw ultimate was needed or necessary. Lawbster will go ahead and confirm. 12-player split of the blue buff.
It's a short enough cooldown here where you can easily align it, not only on the objective, but anyone else trying to steal that one away here. At 30% cooldown reduction, 50 seconds without cooldown reduction at max rank. You're at 30% to that, and there you go.
Yeah, that's always been one of the nicer things about the Ra. The fact that his ultimate so quick. Silverado, the name of that skin. I like the name. It's funny. It's a pun. Ra?
Yeah.
Silverado?
Yeah. There's a lot of words that have an RA in it that we can do.
Middle lane, SK Gaming. Not really looking for the fight even. Just sort of walking up, trying to see what they can take away from Mousesports as far as cooldowns are concerned. Unfortunately for SK and their fans, nobody bit. No ultimates, no relics, just a couple of knockups from Hebo. And that's kind of what you're going to expect if you're not underneath the tower. The problem is, once you go underneath Mousesports' tower, you're getting Agni stunned and you're getting Hebo ulted.
Ooh, Nika not on the mark there with the plug. Getting baited out there. He's going to get stunned out. The snipe coming through as well. Funballer taking out the first victim.
And he's looking great on this on her as well. Damage dealing players. Ducky leading. Number 1 overall. Number 2 for his team is going to be the on her. Although he's 5,000 damage shorter. Ducky just doing the majority of this team's damage right now.
So there's Silverado. Where's Desperado? Where's Eldorado?
Eldorado, he's made of gold. Desperado, he's a cowboy.
Cowboy Ra.
That'd be sick. It would go well with the Artemis skin.
We need a cowboy lineup.
I'm down because we got pirates, right?
We got pirates.
We got pirates, and we've got they're building the DJ set.
We got ninjas as well.
Raven Robin out now. Direct purchase, by the way. There's your weekly plug.
We got
from
the
FDOT.
fancy skins, right? Gentleman skins.
Ugh, yeah, we do.
What? You don't like those skins?
They're so
Fenrir with a top hat.
they're so normie.
What does that even mean?
I love you, Toli. Never change, Anatoly.
Normie. You're a normie. Whatever that means.
On some days I am. Right now, yeah, kinda. Am I? Who knows? 30 minutes into this one. 11 kills. Mouse with 6 of them. SK Gaming, a little bit of the lead. Now, if Mouse win this one, we get some extra smite. We'll go to a game 3. But SK certainly looking to tie this one up in 2. SK Gaming only with 2. 1 single win this split so far. This would be the second.
That's true. Defeating Obey Alliance here. I believe it was week 3 or 4.
Yes, it was week 3.
And they need revenge here from their week 1 loss to Mousesports. Nika finally finding the plug onto WhoDaBest. The ultimate committed as well.
Oh my
Dardez.
goodness. He didn't touch the ground. He got plucked, knocked up 3 separate times, and just now finally getting out of there. But it's Jermain who makes sure he doesn't. 3 shots from the sky, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Trying to fight into this. Nika coming on in there with a blink pluck, forcing out the beats here. It's Ducky that's trying to get the rewind
he gets
off.
it. And he's going to be able to continue the fight. The stun misses, but the basics won't. Nika falls down to the hand of the Time Lord. And SK Gaming, 4 players strong, looking for the retreat. Lawbster likely to fall here. BigManTingz making them big man wings.
I see what you did there. Because he's a chicken and you burned him and you fry him.
Thank you.
Ha!
Thank you. That was a setup. That was a 20-minute long setup, just so you know.
Yep. That's what we do here. We just like write really bad jokes.
You write the bad jokes. I write the good ones. Funball, the good player, will go down to the hand of Dardez. Beautiful play from BigManTingz. The team still fighting over the Fire Giant. A couple players here. Could be stolen one more time. Ducky shows up. And he is! He steals it with the basic attack. Mouse, you got to get better at that. Flat out, cut and dry, black and white, up and down. Improve your objective secure.
It's not easy against such high burst damage, though, to be fair. At that point, Mousesports were so low that they needed to kind of reset the aggro.
Yeah.
So it kind of delayed them a little bit there. Mousesports not able to get the Fire Giant twice in a row now, giving it up to SK Gaming, but still were able to win team fights though. They won the last one afterwards here. Looking like, I think Lawbster was still dead during that Fire Giant steal, so I think WhoDaBest, yeah, he was. And so it's only WhoDaBest and Faeles with it, and that's not the end of the world just to have two of these frontliners with it.
Not at all. I mean, the frontliners are going to be able to use the sustain. Now, you won't have access to the structure damage, of course, but frankly, with a Chrono solo, I'm not concerned about the structure damage, to be honest with you. He's got the offensive build. He's going to be able to cut down the tower damage. He does so much tower damage. I mean, at this point, he's probably swinging for 240 on the tower with the 4th quadrant.
I would say even with a two defensive items there, he's probably going to be hitting more than 240.
Oh, he got the power pot as well. Man.
Maybe like high 200s, low 3s.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very, very, very accurate. Mousesports here on the offensive, despite that they lost the Fire Giant.
They got the AoE here with the Agni Bomb stuns. Honestly, late game favors, I would say, Mousesports between these Habwa Agni. One stuns, one knocks up. You get the boost of both worlds.
At the same time, you've got a late game Chronos here working off of the knock up from Faeles. And if anybody does get away, WhoDaBest is able to execute. I think SK has a nice late game composition as well.
I just don't feel the late game potential here from this Achilles support compared to how much control Dardez has with the Sylvanas here. Sprinting in though is SK through the Cosmos from Faeles, trying to catch somebody.
And there's going to be the dash from the Agni and the ultimate from Nika. Faeles pops his ult to exchange for 1. SK Gaming now on the offensive. It's kind of funny watching this go back and forth because usually it's very clear who's going to be sieging. There's usually a gold lead or a Fire Giant buff, and there is no gold lead, and there is a Fire Giant buff, but it's not dictating who's aggressing.
Definitely not here. Just baiting out more bombs from BigManTingz is the goal from SK Gaming. They want to siege because they have this raw sustain that is so powerful. Not opting to go for the Rod of Sclipius, just trying to get off more damage instead here. Really relying on this double hunter.
Oh, the unhurt pillar. Funball is a god. Separates Nika from the team. Jermain able to punish Ducky after the fact and get the double une. Trouble again. Trip skis for Jermain as Lawbster gonna fall down. Takes to the sky. Looking for number 4. He has eyes, but he got no prize. It's gonna be 3 for the hunter. Jermain feeling good. The rest of the team gonna chase down the support player. WhoDaBest goes with the rest. Number 14 for Mousesports. SK Gaming with half of that. And with everybody falling down, the pings coming out, it's going to be the mid lane Phoenix. That's the target for Mouse.
Nika doing a great job sacrificing his life for the greater good as a soul laner normally does here in Season 5. Lawbster and Funballer died very quickly alongside Ducky. They just didn't really have anywhere to go once Jermain rolled in offensively, really waiting out all the cooldowns from SK that was dumped into that solo lane croc.
Yeah, that was a really nice play from Funball, but unfortunately, not enough.
That's true. This late game Rom with crit. You got Deathbringer here on one side. You have no Thorns, no Height of Nemi in line. You're just asking to get destroyed by this late game physical hunter.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Jermain, and like I said this in game number 1, man. I said, I don't care what the rest of the draft is. I don't care where you are, what the scenario is. If Jermain is playing Rom, there is a chance that your team will win. He really is that much of a difference maker. He really is that much of a game changer. 7-2-3 right now for the French Hunter.
Having so much critical strike. Evolved range, Deathbringer as well. He's going to be able to like really 2 to 3 shot any of these squishies, and that's exactly what happened in that last engagement. Even with Ducky having so much health in his build, he was just wiped off the map. I don't even think he got his rewind off.
Just a tough spot for Ducky. Kind of got saved there, like I said, from Funball for the moment, but after the fact winds up taking a spill. Mousesports have the map presence. Also the mid lane Phoenix down, but all teams even other than that fact. And I think SK Gaming, they've got about a minute to really dance around here before they have to start paying attention to their Titan.
I mean, this Fire Giant wave is getting closer and closer, or Fire Minion wave in the mid lane, rather, is getting a little bit too close for comfort. Lawbster just took all his health here, forced to use the beads from the pluck from Nika.
And Rama in the sky, 2 shots of whatever. Lawbster gonna fall down, Funballer gonna fall down, ex-teammate BigManTingz making the big plays here. And the crits from Ram. Everybody dashes forward.
And
Jermain.
end the game.
That's it. Laugh your way to the bank, my friend.
That's all it takes. One blink pluck there. Lawbster didn't have Aegis available in that team fight. Didn't have it available. It means that he's going to die to the snipes there. Ducky going to get the rewind off just barely. Mousesports extending it to 3.
Cherryo does what he can to take care of Ducky. 50% on the Titan so far. Faeles the only one left to play defense. Jermain makes it a deicide, and we're going to a game 3.
Clean ending by Mousesports there. They did struggle a little bit towards getting the Fire Giant objectives, but they were confident enough to win these engagements there. Getting baited was SK Gaming by the fact that they did have raw sustain, trying to force too many towers there. That tier 2 tower, they didn't respect the damage from this Agni, this Hebo, or the Rom.
Just rough stuff there. And I think it was the Rom, really, that winds up coming through in the clutch in the late game. Still, oh man, I'm still on that play. The on her pillar, blocking everybody out. But unfortunately, SK used all their cooldowns, and that turns things around for them. MVP for this game is a tough decision, so we default to you guys to chat. At the end of the day, I think with the performance, Jermain. Jermain. So you got to help me here, bud.
Jermain.
You think Jermain as well?
Yeah, I think Jermain as well. I thought you were throwing to the desk there for a second.
No,
it's like,
no,
this
no,
is how
no,
I'm
no.
throwing to the desk.
Well, you know what? Let's try it again. Jermain.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate
Nice
it.
throw, Tom.
Jermain.
Great work.
Well, an interesting game too. Obviously, Mouse managed to take it. We were on the desk talking about SK's draft more than Mouse's in terms of it being kind of a bit wonky.
And
is the best way we can put it.
And I think it really came back to haunt them. What were the player damage charts? It was all 3 damage dealers from Mousesports. It's because they don't have to worry about the frontliners that are in front of them. There's no real frontline there for SK, and I just really think that really came back to bite them. And also, Jermain actually showed up this game. That's
really
the big thing.
Really, the Chulainn really did. Dardez doing very well with the Sylvanas alongside Rama, and Jermain will be MVP thanks to FDot's all his hard work of stalling there to keep saying Jermain over and over again.
Yep, nailed it, and got the MVP vote right as well. Anytime you hit double digits in the kill department with only 2 deaths, you're a front runner for the MVP.
Now, obviously, credit where it's due to SK's cup, because I know me and you were discussing it off air too, to do with this Kronos and the fact that, I mean, against a Sobek, it can work because you get all the farm in the world, right?
But look at this fight. No one is able to look at Jermain, and it's because you don't have the front line to zone him away. It makes your job as a hunter so much easier. Look, mages sometimes struggle against heavy, lots of damage comps because they can just kill you before you can kill them. But hunters have that safety factor, man. Jermain takes 0 damage throughout the course of this fight without even with all those damage dealers, and no one's CCing him.
Not gonna lie, I love crit. I think crit is very entertaining for competitive play. Just because you're a mage, that's why I guess you like it, because you like burst, right?
Yeah, exactly. Big damage numbers.
There were some big damage numbers there from Jermain in that one as he got the triple. That could have been a penta. That if you found those 1-2 shots in the jungle, that was up for penta.
That was penta alert. That was penta watch right there. Almost got
there
it.
needs to be a button for that, where you just press it like penta watch and everything just changes.
There's like no hitters alerts that are no hitters in progress for baseball and that kind of stuff. That penta's window is much smaller, so it wouldn't be possible. But I'm with you. I think it'd be great. A drama button,
a little button
nice.
that you just hit so everybody knows to tune in. Let's get into picks.